What happens when a beloved pastor inside one of America's most influential megachurches dares to say no, on site, and means it? Today, we have the full story of Pastor Chris Ogden, First Baptist Church of Orlando, and how one political organization called Turning Point USA tore a thriving church community apart. Stick with me, because this story has everything: power, protest, a forced apology, a resignation, and a congregation literally walking out mid-service. Let's start from the beginning. First Baptist Church of Orlando, or First Orlando, is not your average church. With a congregation of around 14,000 members, it's a heavyweight in Southern Baptist circles, and its leadership carries serious influence. The church is led by three senior pastors: David Uth, Danny DeArmas, and Trey Hildebrandt. Now, First Orlando has a satellite campus called Horizon West, which was launched in 2018 in partnership with the Southern Baptist Convention's North American Mission Board. And that campus had a pastor named Chris Ogden, by all accounts a wildly popular, well-loved leader who had built genuine trust with his congregation. So far, so good. Now, enter Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA, TPUSA, is the conservative political organization founded by the late Charlie Kirk. After Charlie's death, his widow Erica Kirk stepped in to lead the organization, and they launched something called the Make Heaven Crowded Tour, marketed as a gospel-centered, evangelistic revival. The tour kicked off in Los Angeles on January 21st and was scheduled to hit 32 stops across the country. Previous stops had featured Erica Kirk, revisionist historian Eric Metaxas, and other figures from the Christian nationalist world. At the kickoff event in L.A., Erica Kirk reportedly described people protesting ICE tactics as, and I quote, demonic. First Baptist Orlando was slated to be the fourth stop on the tour. The date? February 25th. Senior Pastor David Uth announced the event to the congregation on a Sunday. Notably, the first that most people in the pews had even heard about it. Here's where things get tense. On February 3rd, in an all-staff meeting, Pastor Chris Ogden stood up and voiced his concerns about the church hosting this tour. He wasn't alone. A worship leader named Socrates Perez, who had grown up at First Orlando and had previously served at Saddleback Church in California, also spoke out. Now, you need to understand what this took, or these are staff members raising concerns internally in a meeting to their leadership. That is literally how healthy organizations are supposed to work. But the three senior pastors apparently did not see it that way. Within days, both Ogden and Perez were placed on paid administrative leave for what the executive pastor for campuses, David Lovelace, described in a letter to the congregation as inappropriately speaking out in an all-staff meeting, disagreeing with a decision made by senior leadership. But it gets worse. On Valentine's Day, February 14th, a video was distributed to the congregation. In it, Chris Ogden, visibly subdued, apologized to his own people. He said he had inappropriately spoken out against the decision of the senior pastors and that he had caused a lot of hurt, disappointment, and confusion. He asked for forgiveness. He said he was submitting to a process to restore trust with church leadership. He never named what decision he had questioned. But church insiders confirmed to Baptist News Global exactly what it was: the TPUSA tour. That video has since been deleted from YouTube. Now here is a detail worth sitting with. According to reporting from Baptist News Global, Ogden had reportedly raised these same concerns privately with leadership before the staff meeting. He felt he wasn't heard. When he raised it again in the meeting, that's when the hammer came down. Here's the twist nobody expected. Shortly after all of this became public, TPUSA quietly removed the Orlando stop from both their tour website and the church's social media. The church received a letter from Turning Point USA that reportedly said they had decided to withdraw the tour stop due to what they described as a prayerful reassessment, wishing First Orlando well. So TPUSA bailed. The very event that cost Chris Ogden his standing, that event didn't even happen. Leadership's public statement acknowledged he had concerns about leadership, alignment, and relational trust, but declined to address those concerns openly. 3 weeks later, on Sunday, March 8th, it was over. Pastor Chris Ogden was not present at either of that morning's 2 services at Horizon West. Instead, Senior Pastor David Uth read his letter of resignation to the congregation. What happened next says everything. On recording to multiple eyewitnesses, roughly 50 people walked out of both services. Some of them heckled Uth as they left. Others who were devastated by the loss of their pastor simply didn't show up that Sunday at all. And some of them may never come back. A pastor who had done nothing more than privately and then publicly question whether his church should host a politically charged event. That pastor is now gone. And if you needed any more confirmation that this chapter is truly closed for Chris Ogden, we did a little digging. We pulled up the Horizon West campus website. His bio page? Gone. Completely scrubbed. No farewell post, no acknowledgement, no, thank you for your years of service. Just gone. And in his place? The campus now lists Marcio Nunciaroni as campus executive pastor. That's how fast it happened. The man who built that satellite congregation, who his own people loved enough to walk out of a service over, erased from the website like he was never there. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes. When institutions want to move on and make something disappear, the first thing they do is scrub the record. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, why does this matter beyond one church in Orlando? First Baptist Orlando is not just any church. It is one of the most historically significant and influential Baptist congregations in the country. What happens there sends signals. And what this story signals is deeply troubling. It shows what happens when a political organization like Turning Point USA embeds itself into the structures of American Christianity. And staff members felt the need to speak out. And they paid with their careers. A congregation is fractured. People who loved their church are walking away. The Baptist News global reporter who broke this story put it plainly. TPUSA is a highly divisive organization that is more political than religious. And the leaders of First Baptist Orlando were warned, by their own staff, that inviting this organization in was a mistake. They didn't listen. TPUSA eventually walked away, and now the church is left dealing with the wreckage. Chris Ogden raised a concern. He did it the right way first, privately. He was ignored. He did it the harder way next, publicly, in a staff meeting. He was punished for it. He was forced to apologize on camera. He was isolated from his own congregation. And then he resigned. The question this story leaves us with is a serious one. When political organizations use the church as a platform, who exactly is serving whom? If this story moved you, share it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear what you think about where the line is between faith and politics inside the church. And subscribe if you want to keep following stories like this one. We'll be watching.